Welcome back. This tutorial we're going to look at quantization as well as the rhythm guide or rhythm track if you want to call it that way. So let's briefly talk about quantization. If we go to the phrase edit menu here, there's a quantize setting there, which is by default set to measure, and that's probably the way you want to have this all the time. There are some other options, which means quantization off and quantization to the beat. I'll describe those a bit later on. We'll stick to the measure quantization right now. Again, this was on in the past tutorials, but when you're just recording a single loop, it really doesn't matter much if you have the quantization on. When we're recording or playing along to the rhythm, it makes actually a big difference, because what quantization does, it aligns your loops to the measure. That means your loop start point will be automatically synced to the start of a measure, and your loop end point will always be the end of a measure. So you can only record multiples of measures this way, and this way it will always completely stay in sync as well. Now the beat option does basically the same thing, it just aligns to the beat. The length of your loops will still be a multiple of measures, but you could start at beat 1, beat 2, beat 3, beat 4, depending on your time signature. We consider this an advanced option, and probably if you're probably not going to use this too much, and probably if you would, then you wouldn't need this tutorial. And with quantization off, you can basically freely record. It will never align to a measure. So we'll leave it to measure for now. And let's actually start the rhythm, which in this case is a metronome. That's a little too fast. Let's slow it down a little. And let's record a short loop. And you'll see actually that when I press record, it will wait until it reaches the beginning of the measure. And the same thing will happen when I hit stop. And we'll actually record 2 bars in this case. It's waiting now. A, B, C, D, 1, 2, 3, 4. A, B, C, D, 1. And we'll basically see that we now have a loop that perfectly aligns to the measures. It's completely in sync. D. Another advantage of quantization is that I can now actually change the tempo. B, C, D, 1, 2, 3, 4. And basically my loop will stretch along 1. So now just double tap to go back to the default tempo. A, B, C. Let's stop this briefly. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you'll see actually that it nicely stops at the end of the measure, and also like stops the metronome automatically. If we now go to the rhythm menu, you'll see we'll have several options. First, a rhythm type. We'll stick to the metronome for now. Let's start it briefly. We have time signatures where we can change the time signature. Let's stay on 4/4, and we have several auto start options. We can basically auto start on play, on record, or never. And we'll choose actually now to start on record automatically. And we'll add a count in on record as well, which we can also configure to happen just on play. And we'll enable stop after record. Let's close this again. Let's stop this, and we're gonna now delete this loop. I'm gonna start recording again. What you'll notice now that like as soon as I start recording, like I get a count in, which I enabled for 1 measure, then it'll start recording with the metronome on. And at the end of the measure, like it will automatically stop recording. The metronome would automatically stop. So let's actually try that. We get a lead in. A, B, C, D. A, B, and you'll see actually we still see the rhythm running. We still see that we just recorded 1 measure, but the metronome switched off. So this is great if you're just practicing and your timing is not ideal yet. Then basically you get a little bit of help while doing your first layer to make sure that you get a loop that stays completely in sync. Another thing that I wanted to get back to, I promised from a previous tutorial, is the length settings. Now if I go into the track settings, we actually recorded on manual now. Let's actually delete this briefly. So recorded on manual, but we could actually preset this to a number of measures. if we do that, basically the looper Quantiloop will automatically stop recording at when it reaches the number of measures that you set, which is great. Then you don't need to use a foot press or your finger or anything. You basically, well, it's hands off, so it should help you a lot in focusing on your music rather than on touching Quantiloop. So let's actually set this to 2 measures right now. And actually in this case, what I'm going to do as well, I'm actually leave the auto start to actually on record and play. And I'll do the count in, I'll leave that the way it is right now, but I won't stop the rhythm. I'll leave the rhythm running, which is probably something you would do in performance mode. So actually we'll start recording again. We should get a lead in again. A, B, C, D, 1, 2, 3, 4. A, B, and you now notice actually that it started like recorded exactly 2 loops. I only have to press the button once. B, C, D. Let's stop this again. 2, 3, 4. Now in the intro of this tutorial, actually you saw me playing, and all I did there is basically is the same thing as here. I basically started, I got a count in, and then started playing. Now this is great if you're just practicing on the couch. You don't want to have your foot pedal handy. You have your iPad there, you have your guitar there, you put on your headphones and you can just jam along to some music. So let's briefly go into the rhythm menu now, because probably when you really want to perform, you don't want to perform with a metronome, with a rhythm instead. So if we go into the rhythm type, we could actually select another rhythm. Now Quantiloop doesn't get come pre-shipped with any rhythm. It just has a metronome, that's it. So, but it makes it very easy to copy any loop, any rhythm loop that you have, or it might just be more than a rhythm. It might be a rhythm with a bass line as well, and copy it into Quantiloop and use it as a backing. Now we're actually going to use a third-party tool. Let's look here. This is Drum Loops HD, which is basically a drum loop library. Well, this is actually a rhythm we like. So let's copy this to the clipboard, and we're going to go back into Quantiloop. So basically, if I hit the plus sign here, sorry, I'll hit the plus sign here. I can now copy from the pasteboard. I could also copy loops from anywhere else, from the cloud, Dropbox, Audio Share. We use the pasteboard right now, and we'll see actually the loop that we just copied. Quantiloop will try to guess the correct BPM and length, which usually is correct, but it might be off. It cannot like completely guess accurate. Now the first thing you would do is set your correct time signature, which in this case is 4/4. We'll leave it like that, and then we'll verify if the BPM is correct. If it's not correct, it's usually a factor 2 less or more, and we can adjust that here. We'll actually see also here actually in the waveform the bars and the bars and the beats marked, and in this case it's actually 80 BPM, so we'll leave it actually at the original. And we can also fine adjust the number of measures here if we would want to, if we're not going to save that. It lets us enter a rhythm name and possibly even add it to a new bank if we want to. We'll now leave the default new rhythm and we'll just save it. And we now got a new rhythm. So now if we start this rhythm, this actually already sounds a lot better than our metronome. And now if we start our loop, A, B, we'll still see that our loop is completely in sync with that rhythm. 3, 4, A, B, C, and obviously you saw that the loop starts completely in sync with the rhythm as well. A, if we now press stop again, C, D, 1, both will stop at the same time. 3, 4. And I forgot to mention actually here there's a global stop option, the stop on global stop, which lets the rhythm stop as soon as I hit the global stop button. You can switch that off if you prefer to manually switch on the rhythm. So this is actually what I used in the beginning. I basically had a rhythm assigned, a count in, and like auto start, auto stop, which makes it mostly hands off. Now what's pretty cool as well is interrupt audio. So on iOS there's a lot of great rhythm libraries and rhythm kits available that support interrupt audio. That's a prerequisite. Now, if we go into the Interrupt Audio menu, we can select any Interrupt Audio app. Could be more than just the rhythm actually. In this case, we'll select actually a rhythm kit. We'll select Rock Drum Machine here. We'll see the icon here. We can click on the item here and we'll go to Rock Drum Machine, or we'll see the item here as well for fast access. So let's go there. So in Rock Drum Machine, we have multiple rocks. So let's select, we'll select the default rock rhythm. We'll go back to Quantiloop. Now if we start that one, now we can go back to our rhythm kit, select a different kit if we want to, and we can all start and stop this from Quantiloop. Let's start the track again. A, B, C, D, and we'll hear that it's completely in sync. 3, 4. We can adjust the rhythm volume here. C, D, and let's stop this again. 3, 4. So basically that's quantization and rhythm. Next tutorial will go into multiple loops and sync mode. I hope you liked it, and see you again. Thank you very much.